Failure isn't the end. It's just the beginning of your next success. In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips to help you confront the challenge of conquering fear of failure so that you can crush your goals by turning perceived failure into success. Fear of failure is a universal obstacle that keeps many of us from pursuing our dreams and achieving our goals. It's a sneaky little monster that whispers doubt in our ears, making us question our abilities and second-guess our decisions. But what if I told you that fear of failure isn't just a hurdle we need to overcome? It's actually a crucial step towards success. Many of us have been conditioned to see failure as a negative experience, something to avoid or be ashamed of. We often think that failing means we're not good enough, or smart enough, or talented enough. Sometimes we look at others enviously, thinking they've got it all so easy, or why can't I be as creative as Anne? But what if we could flip that narrative? What if we could view failure as an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve? By shifting our mindset, we can start to see failure not as a roadblock, but as a stepping stone to achieving our goals. We often think failure defines us, but the truth is, it's just an outcome. It doesn't reflect your worth or potential. It's simply a result of an action or a decision. And the best part? Outcomes can always be changed, improved, or learned from. Fear of failure also tricks us into thinking it's permanent. We might fail once and assume we'll always fail, but failure is just a temporary setback that can be overcome with persistence and determination. Now, let me share 5 powerful tips to help you overcome the fear of failure and crush your goals. Tip number 1, reframe failure as a learning opportunity. The first step in overcoming fear of failure is to reframe how we see it. Failure isn't the end of the road, it's just part of the journey. Every mistake, every misstep is a chance to learn and grow. When we can view failure as feedback, we can take control of it instead of letting it control us. For example, imagine you've just launched a new project at work and it didn't go as planned. Instead of thinking, I'm a failure, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Maybe it's a chance to refine your approach, try new strategies, or collaborate differently. Now that you've learned something that doesn't work, what's the next experiment you'll try to get closer to the right solution? With this mindset shift, you can use failure as fuel for your next success. Tip number 2, practice self-compassion. We're often our own worst critics when we fail. We beat ourselves up, replaying our mistake over and over again. But being hard on yourself doesn't help. It just deepens the fear. Practicing self-compassion means treating yourself with kindness, especially when things don't go your way. It's about recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and that failure is just part of life and part of the journey. Let's say you've set a goal and you're trying to get into shape, but after a few weeks you fall off track. Instead of being harsh on yourself and giving up, acknowledge the setback and be kind to yourself. Say, yeah, I slipped up, but that doesn't define me. Then get back to it. Self-compassion gives you the resilience to keep going even after a failure. Tip number 3, focus on the process, not the outcome. Fear of failure often comes from focusing too much on the end result, thinking, what if I don't succeed? Instead, shift your focus to the process. Break down your goal into smaller, actionable steps and focus on making progress one step at a time. By doing this, you take the pressure off the final outcome and you allow yourself to enjoy the journey. For instance, if you're working toward a promotion, focus on the daily actions that will help you improve instead of stressing about whether you'll get it or when you'll get it. Celebrate the small wins, whether it's developing a new skill, networking, or taking on more responsibilities. The outcome will follow naturally when you focus on your progress. Tip number 4, take calculated risks. Fear of failure often keeps us from taking risks, but without risk, there's no reward. To overcome this fear, learn to take calculated risks. This doesn't mean being reckless. It means weighing the potential outcomes and taking a step forward despite the uncertainty. The key is to remember that even if you fail, you'll gain valuable experience that can lead to future success. Think of a time when you wanted to try something new, maybe switching careers or starting a side hustle, but fear held you back. By taking a calculated risk, like starting small or testing the waters with something, you can ease into it and learn along the way. Break down a big goal into small experiments. These allow you to try something new, one small step at a time. Applying the learning from each step will get you closer to making bigger and more successful bets. You don't have to jump into the deep end right away. Take one step at a time and you'll build confidence with each move. And you'll have data to take bigger calculated risks over time. Tip number 5, detach from your ego. Fear of failure often comes from attaching too much of our self-worth to the outcome. We fear that if we fail, it means we're less valuable or capable. But failure does not define you. It's just an experience. By detaching from your ego and viewing failure objectively, you can see it as a natural event, not a reflection of who you are. Take a lesson from J.K. Rowling's story. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was a single mom living on welfare and was rejected by 12 publishers. Instead of letting that failure crush her, she detached from her ego and just kept going. She understood that rejection wasn't about her as a person. It was just part of the process. Her persistence eventually led to one of the most successful book series of all time. By using these 5 tips, reframing failure, practicing self-compassion, focusing on the process, taking calculated risks, and detaching from your ego, you can overcome the fear of failure and crush your goals. As the motivational speaker Les Brown says, too many of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. Don't let the fear of failure keep you from living the life you want. Embrace failure, learn from it, and keep moving forward. And always remember, you've got this.